Well. A familiar face coming back to the Philadelphia Eagles, signed to a one-year deal, and we're going to be going over more offensive line. Jason Kelce has some things to say about Tyler Steen and the future of this offensive line room, which I think is really interesting. Is not signing Mekhi Becton really the biggest regret we're going to have going into training camp in 2025 and into the regular season? And we have some news on contracts that Howie Roseman might have a plan if these players play well, could get a massive extension or somewhat of a small extension after this season. So a lot to talk here, so let's get straight into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope you're having a fantastic day. This video is sponsored by BetUS, so definitely go check them out if you guys have not. So the Eagles have another signing, and it looks like the Eagles are bringing back Matt Pryor. That was with the Philadelphia Eagles, the 2019-2020 seasons. 2019, he played as a tackle, didn't start any games. 2020, started 10 games for the Philadelphia Eagles. Went to Indianapolis for a couple years as a left tackle, right guard, left tackle, so he's been switching back and forth. Barely played like 8 games those 2 seasons. Went to San Francisco in 2023, didn't play any games, and then was with the Bears last year and played almost a full season at 15 games, which isn't that bad. So we see what the Eagles are trying to do here. The Eagles couldn't sign Mekhi Becton, so now they are going out and they're trying to get as many guys that can play guard and tackle. Jeff Stoutland is doing his homework, and obviously the Eagles have brought a lot of offensive linemen on pre-draft visits. I don't think much about this signing. I know Matt Pryor is 30 years old now, so he is a lot older, okay? But Jeff Stoutland knows him, and, there is some familiarity there, so he hasn't been on this team in a good amount of years. So you're going to bring him in for more competition for depth at guard and tackle. Okay, just remember, guys, the Eagles traded for Kenyon Green when they traded Chauncey Gardner-Johnson away. A former first-round pick. That is a project. Maybe won't be a project. Will be nice competition. You have Tyler Steen. You have Trevor Keegan, okay? And you signed that 32-year-old veteran swing tackle, Kendall Lamb. That's really probably just going to be our swing tackle, not going to play any guard. But you have a few guys that can play, guard and tackle, okay? I'm not going to think too much about this. He's played 92 games, 39 starts, and that's really it. I mean, we really don't have an answer for right guard right now, okay? Jason Kelce had a lot to talk about regarding Tyler Steen, which I kind of want to talk about because I thought it was really important. He was on WIP and talked about, will Tyler Steen have a bigger role in 2025, okay? So Kelce said, I would like to see him be a little bit more consistent. He's very good at times, and other times he'll get a little bit out of balance or he'll get beat. But he is a good player and somebody I certainly am happy going into a season playing. I'm concerned a little bit. If you lose Mekhi Becton, you lose Fred Johnson. You had the Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson injuries going to the Super Bowl. And after that, I want to see who is going to replace this depth issue. Who's going to be the Tyler Steen this year if Tyler Steen is a starter and somebody needs to play? Is this a major drop-off that really hurts the unit? Okay, I'm not really worried about Cam Jurgens. That back injury he had wasn't even that serious. It was the biggest precaution that they kept him out of that game in the playoffs. I don't know. I forgot it was the NFC Championship. I think it was when Dickerson played center. So I'm not even worried about that too much. And obviously Dickerson was already dealing with an injury and played through it like a champ, and Cam came in later on during that game. I'm not even really worried about those two. I mean, there was just an injury there, a lot of precaution with Cam Jurgens. I'm not really worried about any of that when it comes to the injuries, okay? But Tyler Steen got thrown to that Super Bowl when Mekhi Becton had to come out, and, he costed the Eagles throwing a pick, okay? He whiffed on a block. You're facing Chris Jones. I mean, to throw Tyler Steen in there, I mean, they have no choice. They have to do it. And he got beat. And, a defensive lineman got to Jalen Hurts early, and he threw that pick on the right side before the end zone right there in the Super Bowl. So that kind of stinted that drive a little bit. But I kind of believe what Kelsey is saying, that there's a consistency issue where he's off balance at times. And I think there's an issue with health too, because Mekhi Becton and Tyler Steen were kind of competing for the job last offseason, and, Tyler Steen ended up getting hurt. I thought Mekhi Becton was going to win the job regardless. He was already kind of edging him to even be really the backup to any position. But at the end of the day, Becton ended up getting that starting job at right guard, which was absolutely fantastic. So I think there is somewhat of a health issue with Tyler Steen too. Okay, so like I said, you brought in a lot of guys. Trevor Keegan will be in the mix too. There's a lot of guys at right guard. There's a lot of guys that can play both guard spots. There's guys that can play guard and tackle. Now you bring Matt Pryor into the mix. Now he has a lot of experience. He has a lot of starting. He has a lot of starting quality. I think he gave up 7 sacks to the Bears last year. And played 15 games, which is not bad. You know what I mean? So that's, the last time he played almost a full season was with the Eagles in 2020, 10 games. He played 15 last year. So either he's been really bad or he's had a health issue, one or the other. So, but at the end of the day, through all this of what's going on at right guard, man, why didn't they just resign Mekhi Becton? You know what I mean? They're going through this trouble, and I get it. Like, you're trying to add guys. Like, they have to go out and add guys. And, thank God we have Jeff Stoutland. But, man, this is just hurting even more to, they should have just tried to make something work. Part of it is probably the Bryce Huff contract that's clogging up a lot of that's clogging up obviously some cap space. And I think if you didn't have that Bryce Huff contract, you probably could have signed Mekhi Becton. You probably could have went out and got Oren Burks, that 2 years, $5 million. I don't even know how. You don't even get a comp pick for Oren Burks, and they still couldn't even re-sign him. So I'm just still a little confused on a couple of the moves they didn't make. The ones I knew that were going to happen were going to happen. These little, and I understand you get a comp pick for Mekhi Becton. I get it. So the Eagles have 4 comp picks going to be awarded to them going into that 26 offseason next year with 12 picks under their belt in that draft. It's going to be insane. But this just, it just kind of bugs me a little bit that they just, even some of the ones that really aren't expensive, that they could have tried to fit Mekhi Becton for a couple years, 20 million, 2 years, whatever it was. I think it was very affordable, and I think the Eagles did drop the ball on this just a little bit. That's just my opinion. Maybe people won't. Look, I'm excited for Tyler Steen. I'm excited for Trevor Keegan, and both those guys weren't healthy last offseason. Trevor Keegan missed time as well. So you're having guys that miss time and, are not getting enough snaps on the field. Tyler Steen has had the most snaps out of a lot of guys. I think he's a better right guard than he is a left guard, but we'll just have to see, man. Health is the main thing, and if Kelsey thinks that he's not consistent to this point, an offensive lineman is definitely going to be in the mix with it, whether it's day 1 or day 2. Someone's getting drafted. And probably going to be plugged in immediately. Unless Kenyon Green comes in there and just, the Eagles, Jeff Stoutland turned Mekhi Becton's, career around. Maybe for the former first-round pick in Kenyon Green, he'll turn him around. So we'll see what happens. I still don't agree with how they've been really, managing the offensive line, especially this glaring hole at right guard right now. It's going to come down to competition, it looks like. We'll see what they draft, and we'll give it more time. And that's really it with that. But if you guys haven't got the Philly Shakedown podcast merch, definitely go check it out. We have the Champions High Sprung polyester shirt selling like crazy. Go check it out. We have the main thing t-shirt in lot selling as well. Definitely go check it out. Comes in shirts, hoodies, all that great stuff. And we have other merch that we were selling last year. We're going to have a lot more new stuff coming out as well. So definitely check the store. Link in the description and the pin comment in the comment section as well. Appreciate everybody buying and supporting. Now we're into contracts for the Philadelphia Eagles, okay, which I think this was already gone over probably a few weeks ago, but we're going to go over it again because I feel like it's really important because it's involving this year and it's involving the future. Now, Azeez Ojulari's contract, okay, he's a $2.7 million cap hit in 25, $800K, a dead cap hit in 26, all right? 1 year, $3 million fully guaranteed, includes his base salary $2 million and his signing bonus $1 million. 4 void years are added for salary cap benefit purpose and also makes him an extension candidate. He also has $500K in incentives for multiple sack thresholds and snaps played. So, Azeez Ojulari, they must think really high on him. Now, the 4 voided years, okay, they actually gave that same exact stint in the contract to Adoree Jackson. Because potentially, depending on what's going on with this cornerback 2 spot between Kelee Ringo and Adoree Jackson, if Adoree comes in as a valuable backup, or if Kelee Ringo doesn't pan out, gets injured, or something like that, then Adoree gets a starting spot and they could re-sign him for another year. Okay, Adoree Jackson's turning 30 years old. Just got to remember that at his age going forward. And now with Azeez Ojulari, they might feel like, they feel really good about him. If he stays healthy, yeah. I mean, you're coming off a 6-sack season last year, and he just, relatively the last 4 years, he hasn't been healthy. But, man, for the short amount of time he's played, between his quarterback hits, his sack numbers might not be there crazy because he's been injured, but let me tell you, when he's in there, he's disruptive. He's very disruptive, and putting him back in as another Georgia Bulldog with few of his former teammates that are still on this team from, I think, 2020, if I'm not mistaken, is definitely going to be a big help. Bringing in this Georgia Bulldog family still intact and bringing more guys from that school. And Azeez Ojulari thinking he was going to get a little bit more money in this past free agency, and because of the injuries that he's had, teams weren't ready to risk giving him a bag of money. Okay, so potentially in the process throughout the 25 season, as we go through the regular season, we got to see how good Azeez Ojulari will do, and potentially could be extended. I don't know how much of this is going to be true. I think this just makes Ojulari more hungry to have a good season. Just remember, Howie Roseman has signed a lot of guys at 25, 26 years old. Guys that are going into their primes, betting on themselves with a team coming off a Super Bowl and staying hungry throughout the year to earn that contract. And every guy they have signed to these one-year type deals. And remember, the Eagles haven't done this in a long time. Remember back in the day, the Eagles used to sign 1 year, especially that 2017 season, that Super Bowl year. 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. And then, after the year, then you lose all those guys, so... And because Howie likes the comp pick game so much, because you have all those one-year deals and then you re-sign a guy or something like that, it just depends. They get a lot of comp picks from signing these one-year deals, and he likes to play that comp pick game. But this is the first type of year in a while where he signed a few good amount of one-year deals so far. So these are guys that are betting themselves going into a prime age, the prime of their career. And I feel good about Joshua Uche. I feel really good about Azeez Ojulari. Like, I think Howie Roseman is getting some bargains with Azeez Ojulari. It just comes down to him just staying on the field and being healthy. So if you add those 4 voided years, it's going to create a nice loophole for the Eagles to say, let's sign Azeez Ojulari. Maybe he won't be that much money after having one good year with the Eagles. We'll see how it goes, because the markets are always resetting down the line, and we'll see what happens with that. But it is very exciting to see these guys get on the field for training camp and what's to come of the offseason program. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about Matt Pryor coming back to the Philadelphia Eagles. Are you worried about what Jason Kelce said about Tyler Steen And, did they fumble the bag on not re-signing Mekhi Becton? I think they did. Not to say that they're not going to fix this position this offseason, but it would have been a hell of a lot easier to sign him. I don't even care about the comp pick, but Howie Roseman loves his comp picks. And, he didn't get signed for a long time, so I'm starting to think that they were trying to get something done, and they just couldn't get it done. Okay, let me know what you guys think. And obviously, Azeez Ojulari, the edge rushers that we have now, and some of the voided years, what do you think it means for them going forward? Who do you think has the big year, and who do you think might get retained if there is a chance for them to get retained after a great year in 25 to going into 26 next year and, could do some good things on a contract extension? You guys let me know in the comment section below. Appreciate everybody that's been supporting. And I will see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.